What's up, YouTube? It's your boy BI to the G, and I'm back with a brand new video. You can see I'm not really smiling because, bro, this is fucking sad, bro. So I've got a video here from Hosa, and it says the complete and utter collapse of Sudan. Hey, I pray for anyone in Sudan, bro. Like, y'all be safe. God watch over you guys. I know shit is fucked up right now in the country. Like, bro, I don't know. Like, so I don't know. I needed updates because I normally talk about this story on TikTok, but I haven't been able to do that in a while now. So I wanted to check this video out from Hosa and see if there's any updates to the situation, if maybe there's something being done about it, or if there's something sketchy going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. And as my African relatives, bro, like, I definitely need to let this story, even if with my small numbers, I'll be able to push them to someone else, I'll damn well do it. Okay, so let's check this video out, bro. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, we're trying to get to 3K. We're almost there. Okay, push me on my small journey. Let's go.
It's a bit of a cliche to say, why doesn't the mainstream media care about this country
what the hell?
or that war? But if there is any truly ignored war on Earth, it's the one going on in Sudan right now. Since 2023, Sudan has been suffering from complete state breakdown.
2023,
and
bro.
owing to its massive population of over 50 million people, making the current crisis not just the making of another failed state, but the largest humanitarian crisis on Earth. In 2025, it was the country with the highest number of people facing famine, of internal refugees, and the most mass death. Beating out, not to use another cliche, these wars you might be a little more familiar with. To fully understand the crisis, you need to understand how Sudan got to this point. But first, let me just...
My question is, how do they always get these guns? Like, these thugs and stuff, like, where do they get their guns from? Like, how? I just want to know, understand. Is it the government that's supplying them with the guns, or there's a market you can go and buy the guns like the way you do regularly in the US? Or, like, this is serious, bro. Where did they get the guns, bro?
Try to share how awful Sudan's civil war is in under 6 minutes. The chain of events started when longtime dictator Omar al-Bashir was ousted after months of popular protests, triggered by economic collapse. Weighing into pressure, the armies called into the capital to defend him instead turned on him in April of 2019.
You see, this is what the army and the military police is supposed to be doing for the people. When you see this, okay, this leader is a dictator. He's selfish. He's not helping his people. This is what the army is supposed to do. You are supposed to protect the people. You're not supposed to protect one individual or a group of people. You are protecting the whole damn country, bro. That is the purpose of the army and the police, bro. Like, you guys shouldn't come and be protecting, unless you know, okay, maybe there's a target on the president's life. That one is a different case. But when the whole country, you can say that, okay, this is the whole country, and everyone is like angry at the president, you should know that, okay, then something is going wrong somewhere, or he's doing something bad, because people are feeling it now. That's how it is. But if there's a case whereby you come and protect the people, watch over the people and guide them, and you're just here to, like, rather protect one individual because, well, you left your job, bro. The people gave you that job. If you don't know, I'm trying to tell you something, because taxpayers' money is from them. Let me like this video.
Forced him out, giving the military power for a few months to go through a transitional phase. Two military sects held power together, the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces, a paramilitary and business empire which grew out of the Arab supremacist Janjaweed militia, which, by the way, translates in English to devils on horseback. The SAF was headed by Abdel al-Burhan, while the RSF was led by General Hamdam Dagalo, better known as Hemedti, also known to al-Bashir as my protector. His career has been made through helping the Sudanese government crush rebels, controlling Sudan's gold exports, and sucking up to the president. After the transitional government, the two men which ran these militaries, big surprise, vied for control of the country against each other, rapidly degenerating Sudan into a civil war which broke out in April 2023. The main disparity was over the creation of a joint army.
Greed,
al-Burhan wanted it done by 2 years, while Hemedti wanted it done by 10. Naturally, they started shooting at each other to solve this debate. Now the SAF controls the East, Nile River, and coastline, posturing itself as the true government, while the RSF controls the West, including a region known as Darfur, launching a campaign to either co-control the country
hold
or
on.
to separate.
What the hell? What's wrong with this YouTube thing, bro? Is it bugged? Wait. So Sudan is divided into half, two separate parts. What? I had no idea about
As
this.
its own state. The details aren't really hashed out yet. The subsequent fighting has torn
Bro,
the
look at
social
this,
fabric
bro.
of Sudan apart. At least 500,000 have died, with 15 million displaced, overwhelming refugee camps, and 25 million suffering from hunger as farms and food stockpiles are
25 million,
deliberately
bro.
burned. In a country made up of 40% children,
That's small numbers, bro.
90% of them are out of school. This is total collapse. Sudan has seen many civil wars in its history, but none reaching into its major cities. This time around, Sudan's capital and cultural center, the Tri-City area of Khartoum, has seen clashes and airstrikes, so much so that Al
This is
Burhan has
crazy.
had to flee to Port Sudan. When fighting couldn't be done between these groups, the armies switched to civilians, indiscriminately bombing hospitals, schools, markets, and residential areas. Much of the fighting, though, is centered
Bro,
around Darfur,
what is this?
a notoriously arid land which has traditionally been Sudan's poorest region. There, the RSF has won victory after victory, receiving aid through a corridor it captured to East Libya. Sudan has had a troubled history of race relations. Many elites have declared Sudan an officially Arab Islamic country, sparking decades of unrest and conflict between them and the darker-skinned, mainly
Bro, that's
Christian
crazy.
people of the South, culminating in South Sudan's secession in 2011.
Okay, where was I?
Culminating in South Sudan's secession in 2011. More recently, though, has been the government's and RSF's fight against the non-Arab inhabitants of Darfur,
So
a
there's
place literally
there's a
meaning
religion
home of
division
the
in that
poor.
place too.
This is an ethnically
But like, why can't they live together? I don't understand. Like, why can't Christians and Muslims live together? Like, what's the point? Like, what's the problem? I don't understand. What's the problem there, bro? Like, you guys should let me understand.
mixed
Is there
region
a
of
reason?
Fur, Masalit, and Zagawa peoples, along with many nomadic Arab tribes, many of which moved in the 1980s. Tension in the region over land rights, along with approval from the Bashir regime, culminated in a genocide of the native Africans by Janjaweed forces in the 2000s. A scenario that, since the most recent breakout of war, has started again. Capturing Al-Fashir, which was a regional hub for the displaced people of Darfur, would mark a huge victory for the RSF. For 18 months, they sieged the city, cutting food and medical supplies, building a wall of dirt around the city, and shooting anybody who tried to escape. On October 27th, 2025, they finally captured it, starting what would become the bloodiest few weeks of the year. The mostly Arab soldiers.
That's what people said. You could see from the satellite in space, right?
Through the city, systematically torturing and killing all inhabitants over the age of 10. This is a group who.
No, I want to say something, but I know it will get me into trouble. This is crazy, man.
Whose members call for the extermination of all black skins from Darfur, shouting that women will soon have Arab babies.
All what colors are they, bro?
Black skins from Darfur, shouting that women will
This ain't white niggas, bro. What?
Soon have Arab babies, and who've posted these atrocities all over social media.
Look at the guy behind it. That is not a white dude, bro. The northern states is something else. You all will head there only for the women. The northern states you head there only for the women to cleanse their lineage.
It is an attempted
That is
ethnic
crazy.
cleansing of Darfur. Tens of thousands died with its capture, a fact only known because of the piles of bodies seen from satellite imagery.
Yeah,
In a
this is it.
city of this size, that means
Bro,
at least a tenth were killed within weeks of its capture, a speed of mass death not seen in the modern world since the Rwandan genocide.
you see, and everyone have turned their attention from it. Like, no one wants to help. No one wants to help. If it was oil right now, you see them. If it was your natural resources right now, they'll be coming to help.
Now, it is in all honesty more likely than not Sudan will collapse. At least it will collapse in its current form, with the West either formally seceding like South Sudan or creating a shadow government that basically acts as its own country without going through the increasingly useless motions of trying to become a UN member state. How could a country get so bad to the point where nobody has the power to stop what will likely go down as one of the worst mass killings
Bro,
of this decade?
this
Modern
is sad,
Sudanese
bro.
history has been a cycle of military rulers, people getting tired of them and their despotism, overthrowing them in popular riots only to end up with another military ruler. This has happened for 3 cycles, making up 52 of the almost 70 years of independent history. These chunks were the
Why,
rules
bro?
of
Like,
Ibrahim Aboud, Jafar Namiri, and Omar al-Bashir respectively, each with a couple guys after them in the transition phase to the next military government. Sudan's current crisis is over who gets to lead the 4th. The first 2 dictators basically had the same trajectories. They
how
both
are
came to
all your
power
leaders dictators, bro? Like, this is so messed up, bro.
through a coup, led a government based on military
It's more
over
darker than I
civilian
thought, bro.
rule, centralizing that rule around their personality and brutally put down rebellions and protests. General Ibrahim Aboud was part of the Islamist coalition, while Colonel Jafar Namiri led the leftist one. Instead of
Leftists.
tribal governments, to both of these guys, progress was going to come through the Islamization of Sudan. As a result, the
I don't get it. Like, it's only, bro, it's a sensitive topic, so I don't want to say anything. Maybe I'll say it on live later. But this is very, very bad. This is really fucking sad, bro. Like,
defining political problem for most of Sudanese history was what to do with the South. Christianity was a pre-colonial religion of the people who lived here, and the mountainous and jungly land of the region prevented large-scale Arab or Islamic migrations. The primary solution the northerner elites thought of was to integrate it into a larger Islamic Sudan. The
why?
first constitution of the
Why, bro?
country
Like, why do you want to force someone to be in your religion? No one is forcing you to be in another person's religion. So why? I don't understand. Like, why? If someone wants to be a Christian, let them be a Christian. If they want to be a Muslim, let them be a Muslim. Why are you forcing someone to be a Muslim by force? What's the point? I don't understand. Like, you guys, if you guys are Muslims, you guys should let me understand. Like, why? What is it? Like, what is with that? Like, what's up with that?
already so divided when it was written for an explicitly Arab Muslim nation. Both then tried to Islamize the South, and both faced organized military backlashes in 2 different civil wars. What's ironic is that part of the reason Aboud was ousted was because of fatigue the war brought, and part of the reason Namiri came to power was because he negotiated the end of that first war. Namiri then went back on that and did what the Islamist coalition couldn't do, create an officially Islamic Sudan, and he did it overnight, enforcing Sharia with 1 presidential decree, again seeing organized resistance from the south. So for the first 5
Why
or
do you
so
want
decades
a
of
country to be
independent
an Islamic
Sudanese
state by
history,
force,
the
bro?
defining motivating force of the military governments was to keep the
You see, I'm starting to feel like there's something going on here. It's not just amongst the people themselves. There's something dark going on in this country. Like something very, very dark. Like way dark, bro. Why? Like, why do you want everyone? It's a matter of choice. I want to be a Christian, fine. You don't want to be a Christian, fine. Why are you forcing someone to,
South in the
bro?
country through
What,
mostly violent
like,
means, killings and
makes,
burnt buildings.
bro?
The waves
Hold
of
on,
war would kill and
bro. Stop.
expel.
What the hell is wrong with this thing, bro? What makes you think when the person actually joins your religion or becomes a Muslim, what makes you think he'll be worshiping with a whole heart or be happy? He's literally just doing it because he's scared for his or her life. Are you sure that's what your God wants?
Millions. Mass killings, which would be history defining for most other countries, were
Look at these
just a
numbers,
part of
bro.
the long history of these wars.
Bro, look at these little kids, bro.
What didn't help the peace was the discovery of oil in the south, which would represent a great help to the cotton-dependent nation. The national refinery to process it would be built near Khartoum, rather than in the south where it was originally planned for,
Look
and
at
the
this.
main port to export in Port Sudan. So to get it here, a pipeline would have to be built across the country, keeping the south dependent on the north for economic growth, of which it saw almost none, since no oil was exported until the 2000s.
That is sad.
Also planned was the Jonglei Canal project to transfer water from the marshy south upstream to the north.
So
The
literally,
government
the South
promised
is literally the
foreign-
one providing everything for the North, and
investors, Sudan would have
human
a green
beings we are
revolution with this
disgusting, bro.
project,
Like, no joke.
having more arable land than the rest of the Arab world combined. Southerners protested for the rights to their own oil revenue and water resources, so the government promised development projects for the South, none of which were kept. In fact,
this.
the entire canal project was scrapped when the conflict intensified. This second bout of fighting would begin the longest civil war in African history, ending in the breakup of the country. The main resistance was the Southern People's Liberation Movement and Army, led by John Garang. Originally, they wanted to found a new Sudan, which was secular, democratic, and socialist, and actually had some northerners who were opposed to Islamic rule join it. The government was able to convince America to fund its campaign against these socialist agitators, while their funds came from communist Ethiopia. But after decades of fighting, the SPLM started explicitly calling for separation from the North. What changed for them was the start of the third military cycle. Namiri was ousted in 1985. An ineffective administration couldn't keep power, only to be couped by the National Islamic Front. In charge, al-Charabi and al-Bashir. The new
These guys don't
NIF
even look
government
African, bro. Like,
would do just as the others had done, continue fighting the South and crushing their political opponents. But just 10 years after they took charge, the NIF split, not into ideological sects, but over who should be in charge.
they don't even know how to manage their own leadership. Look at this. This is dog shit, bro. You don't even know how to manage your
Before
own.
that,
You don't know who wants to lead.
al-Charabi's most significant addition to history was being chums with bin Laden and getting Sudan put on America's state sponsors of terrorism list, ending all American aid to the country. Long story short, as the economy waned under sanctions,
They don't even know
al-Bashir
who
and the
would lead.
National
Like,
Congress Party would take charge, marking a slowdown
very
of the
sad.
war with the South. For one reason, al-Charabi was the one more concerned with pushing an Islamic Sudan south. Secondly, the war was no longer affordable. Too many human and fiscal resources were going towards it, while sanctions were weighing heavy on the government. Thirdly, this new oil provided a huge incentive to end the war to get it going. And last, al-Bashir focused his military administration on another region, Darfur. During the Second Civil War with the South, fighting spread to the west as al-Bashir viewed Darfur with the same contempt
so what? Now
that
the country is
many
divided
viewed
into
the
3
South
parts.
with. See, throughout the 1980s, a flow of nomadic Arabs came into the region to escape a decade-long war between Libya and Chad, which, by the way, in its final act, concluded with the Great Toyota War. Libya's dictator Muammar Gaddafi had planned on expanding his kingdom down into Chad and eventually the entire Sahara. To help with this, he set up training camps around his enemies. Darfur's unpoliced Wild West was a great staging post for his fight against the Chadian Hissène Habré. But a mix of refugees, weapons, and a constant stream of racial supremacy doesn't usually end up great for the local population. Though the two groups had coexisted for decades before,
You are Africans. Even if you came from Arab and your grandfathers or ancestors came from Arab, the fact that you were born in Africa, you are African. What's with the separation?
even commonly marrying into each other's
This
families,
is one of the hardest videos
that
for me
didn't
to do,
last
you know.
when the drought came.
One of the hardest videos I
Then
had to react to
tensions
because
boiled over between
things
native
I
farmers
want to
and
say,
the nomadic herders
you can't say
over
it because
what
of
little
community
water
guidelines.
supplies remained.
Because you don't know what
followed
would
was
be taken
complete breakdown,
as
to the point where the
an
police
opinion
had
and
to
what would...
beg for
My bad. Let me stop. Let me pause first. You don't know what would be taken as an opinion and what would not be taken as an opinion. You get it?
fuel so they could do their routine patrols. And it was around this time when devils on horseback started to float around in relation to these new Chadian professional fighters. When Gaddafi failed to take Chad, many nomadic Arabs stayed in Darfur. Years of Arab oppression went by before they revolted under the Sudan Liberation Movement and the Justice and Equality Movement. Fearing the region would end up like South Sudan, al-Bashir empowered the Janjaweed to do as they pleased, burn villages, and kill locals en masse. Because many in the forces aren't paid, they've been incentivized to loot as much as they can, leaving behind empty apartments, offices, and shops, leaving refugees to swell in makeshift tent cities in the suburbs. The Darfurian genocide saw the deaths of at least 500,000 people throughout the Second Civil War, an atrocity which Hemedti played a key and personal role in, and one which also made al-Bashir the first head of state ever to be indicted by the International Criminal Court for his role in masterminding it. As the military shifted its focus here, it left the South to negotiate their way out of the whole mess. Al-Bashir was open to it, and in 2005 they signed the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, outlining the post-war divisions of wealth and power, as well as giving the South the option to secede by 2011. Part of the reason, the NCP viewed the South as a distinct people rather than a vacuum to be filled. Another, the American government pressured the country into it by promising to lift their sanctions if they gave the Christians freedom, which did not end up happening after news of the Darfur genocide broke. In 2011, with a nearly 99% margin, they voted to become independent. However, in one agreement during the war, the South would be defined as this line, the three original provinces, but in this new CPA, they would allow South Kordofan, Blue Nile, and Abyei to join as well, creating a disputed border that lasts to this day.
Wait, so Sudan
doesn't really have any borders right now. It didn't help that they agreed to split oil revenues 50-50, but around 3/4 of oil reserves were found in the south. So before and after independence, the two halves again fought over the border, especially over the oil-rich province of Abyei, leading to more deaths, displacements, and a harsh version of Sharia being implemented in the north, a version shaped by al-Bashir. He said there would be no more question of diversity now that the South is gone, a pretty bad foreshadowing as to how he viewed how he wanted his country to run, while the South pretty much devolved into ethnic slaughter as soon as it got independence. The decade between the end of the war and the South's independence was the only time Sudan really had an economic boom, as it used oil revenues to invest into education, healthcare, and infrastructure.
And then it ruined everything again.
Look at this graph of Sudanese foreign exchange earnings. The biggest thing here was oil, with gold barely making the same dent. 95% of foreign exchange and 60% of government revenue was tied to oil. Al-Bashir had also built a patronage network based on this oil revenue. Again, see the crash. Where subsidies to basic goods were given to the Sudanese middle class, bribes and development projects were given to business and local elites, and funding to private security forces were all dependent on these fields.
Greed, bro, greed.
He also siphoned billions to overseas bank accounts for himself. Thus, after the loss of this chunk in 2011, he was screwed. From its peak of $10 billion in 2010, foreign exchange earnings fell to around $300 million in 2016, 3% of what they were. Al-Bashir then tried to ramp up pipeline costs to Port Sudan, which the South Sudanese president responded with murder-suicide, ceasing to transport all oil through the pipe. When that was resolved and it really dawned on al-Bashir how little sources of foreign revenue he had left, he institutionalized the Janjaweed, rebranding them as the RSF and allowing them to do whatever they could to make money. He basically privatized this militia group. They exported soldiers to the Yemeni civil war to make some money, got into construction, trading weapons, but most importantly, started gold production. Especially after they captured the massive Jebel Amir gold mine in Darfur. Big shocker, this didn't replace Sudan's lost foreign exchange, and as an import-reliant country, losing their reserves would result in a, what we can say now, country-ending crisis. In 2018, his patronage network formally collapsed when he ended subsidies to bread and fuel, nearly tripling the price of food for the average person, starting the protests which ousted him, taking us back to where we started. The loss of South Sudan broke al-Bashir's patronage system and left a bloated military with nothing to do. Attempting layoffs would threaten the regime as many young, military-trained men would suddenly be out of work. To give you some perspective, roughly 70% of the government spending went into the army.
Bro, you're literally an old man, but what are you going to do with the money? You're an old man. What is he going to do with the money? You've literally lived your life already. What are you going to do with the money?
Or private security groups in 2016, while 2% went to education and 1% went to health spending. Throughout this whole thing,
How
the
does health get
RSF,
1%?
likely seeing the writing on the walls, created their own streams of revenue to stay independent from the central government. A far ways from Hemedti's humble beginnings as a camel trader, he now controls the region's mines and oil refineries, cementing a literal business empire in the desert. Their most important connection is with the UAE, which is the world's hub of gold refining and trading. It's been reported that they've sold hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold to the Emirates through Hemedti's family company Al Junaid, and that the Emirati government has funded the paramilitary with smuggled weapons and aid through the eastern Libyan corridor. Of course, they officially deny all of this, but the Emirati business interests in the country are too great. It's one of the biggest gold-producing regions on Earth, and by placing a bet on the RSF winning the war or seceding, they can keep growing their position as the world's gold superpower. They also rely on Sudan for food imports, as it was an al-Bashir program to sell some of Sudan's farmland to many Middle Eastern powers for their own food security, seeing what a lack of it could lead to. Keeping Sudan semi-functioning is...
Wait, so the Arabs or Emirates were controlling Sudan? This story is complicated, bro.
just in the interest of the Emirates.
And it's very sad.
And according to some experts,
Humans can
if
live
they withdrew
like greed.
tomorrow, there's a good chance the war would end real quick. Also involved in the war are Russia's Wagner Group, also betting on the RSF to win to protect gold supplies under the Mero Gold Company. And
The what? Russia.
on the other side, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Iran, Ukraine, and the Russian government, who would all like to see some sort of stability in what they view as a geostrategically important region. Despite all their atrocities, the RSF still wants to project themselves as a force of democracy and peace to gain governing legitimacy, in a world where you don't really have to go through these motions anymore. In 2025, the RSF came together to declare a government of peace and unity, drafting a constitution for what their new country may look like. And although there's not really another government on Earth who buys this delusion, basically sanctioned by the whole Western world, there's also not a government who really cares much to do anything about it. Meanwhile, sitting in the southern Nuba Mountains, a remnant of a past war can be found in a new form. Distracted by the civil war, the SPLM has attacked and set up a little republic of New Sudan, comprising about 500,000 people. They've started their own English language schools, made their own court system outside of Islamic law, and have started the fight for a Western-style secular democracy. It's a reminder as to how far Sudan has gone in its current crisis, that the issue the government has spent almost its entire existence trying to stop has just gone ahead because nobody has the capacity or care to squash these southern rebels. Unfortunately, there's just not that much care to go around for what is almost certainly Sudan's largest crisis in its existence. Not much care for the increasingly nihilistic people living there, leaving behind no governing structure for society, and, unless you're the Emirati Sheikh, not much care from the outside world as well.
Crazy.
If you
That's very crazy, bro. This video is actually crazy. Like, it's literally one of the saddest videos I've ever made. And the most annoying one too. Like, and it's a very touchy topic to talk about, because I don't understand. Like, my problem is, why can't two religions coexist? Christians coexist with literally every religion on this planet, because in the Bible it says love your neighbor as yourself. So I don't see why I should hate anyone in the first place. So why are they rather trying to force? I don't understand. Is your God okay with you forcing your religion on others? Like, what shows they would be loyal to your God? Like, I don't understand, bro. Anyways, bro, that's the end of the video. You guys should tell me in the comment section. This is a very touchy topic, so I didn't know what to say. Like, I was literally trying to process what I should say, what I should not say, trying to be careful about the things I say and stuff like that. So, yeah. I'll catch you in the next video. So, boy, be out to the G. Take care, peace, and y'all stay safe in Sudan. Both the north and the south, whatever side you are on, you guys should try to, like, if any of you see this video, you guys should try to, like, make peace, like, actually work on your country, because Sudan is a very fucking big country, like, and bro, you guys have the resources too. Like, if you guys literally come together and make the country good, you guys will be eating. Like, come on, bro. I'll see you guys later, bro. Peace.